Hey guys, and welcome to the very first episode of Releasing the Realness, the no fuss, no faffing, and no fronting show where we keep the conversation strictly candid. Now this season, I've had the privilege of speaking to some incredibly brave individuals about how they've dealt with the sudden loss of a loved one. Today, I'm joined by husband and wife, Yemi and Tola Adeshina, and they'll be sharing their story of bereavement, healing, and hope. So, without further ado, come along for the ride as we release the realness on life after loss. We're coming for you, mate. We're coming all the way for you. So, starting with you, Yemi.
I didn't do ladies first.
No, let's start with you. Please, can you describe Tola in 3 words?
Oh, amazing, respectful,
Nice.
and loving.
Loving. And same question to you. Please describe Yemi in 3 words.
Funny.
So, do you laugh at his jokes?
Yeah.
Genuinely?
No, I do.
Yeah.
Actually, he's hilarious.
That's a good
He's
sign.
like my personal comedian. In a good way. Loving.
Both describe each other as loving,
Yeah,
which is
he's
interesting.
Very loving. And I would say disciplined as well.
Nice.
Disciplined in the areas,
Surprise.
because there's particular areas where you are disciplined. But in terms of like his relationship with God.
Takes it seriously.
Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. Tola, question to you. If money wasn't an object, if all the bills had been paid and all your expenses were taken care of, what would be your life's work?
My life's work, if everything literally
Didn't have to worry about a
financially
thing,
didn't have to worry
carefree,
about all
yeah.
of that, would probably, well, not would probably, it would be working with women, encouraging them to be all that they can be, and probably spending time with them, because I guess obviously a 9 to 5 when I'm working, I can't spend time with a lot of women that I want to speak to and counsel them and kind of just help them, encourage them to be.
So that's your passion then, that ministry.
Definitely.
Awesome. And Yemi, James chapter 4 in verse 7 talks about humbling ourselves. The scripture, the complete scripture is, humble yourself and resist the enemy and the devil will flee from you. My question to you is, how do you humble yourself? How do you keep yourself grounded? How do you keep level-headed?
I think because I know that I didn't choose to be who I am. And my ultimate answer, or the person I ultimately answer to, is God. And if God could humble himself and take on human form, agree to be spat on, agree to be beaten,
Humiliated,
who am I, regardless of what it is, like, who am I not to humble myself? So every time I'm taken back to that moment, I'm like, if God can do it, then you're nothing, bro. You could humble yourself.
Do you find it hard in situations?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the most challenging ones that you find is, especially when you and your spouse are going at it, somebody has to give.
Yeah.
And I guess
Don't
in
we
our
know it?
relationship, I'm the one that gives a lot. So I think in anything, most of the time, I'm not confrontational like that.
Okay.
But if you get me there, I would rise up, and then I realize, it's not getting anywhere. Let's just humble ourselves, and then.
Nice, good answer, really good answer. Okay, so just a few months after you gave birth earlier this year, you released a blog piece, a powerful blog piece entitled, "And for this I will continue to praise him, even in the midst of the unknown." So for the viewers who haven't read your blog piece, or for those who don't even know your story, can you please talk to us about that 6-month period from November 2016 up until the end of April, very beginning of May? Just talk us through the events, the key events in that period, and just let us know, what that was like for those who just have no idea.
So, I guess, so we found out we were pregnant. Was it November or December? I can't remember now.
It was November. You came back from Nigeria in October.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, I went on a missionary trip in October in Nigeria, and came back from Nigeria in October. Are you sure it was November? Yeah, it was November.
It was.
Sorry, yeah. So November, and then found out we were pregnant, and it was like as soon as we found out, because I think we were like quite a few weeks pregnant. As soon as I found out, it was like the morning sickness just started. Like all the symptoms that everyone talks about literally started. And so I guess, it was a joyous moment, obviously finding out that we were pregnant. We'd always said that, once we get married after a year, we would get pregnant, and it coming up to a year. So December would have been our 1 year anniversary. And so we found out we were pregnant. Even to be honest, telling the story about how I found out. So obviously I missed my period. And I knew that I'd missed my period, so I thought, maybe I'm pregnant. Yeah. And I think I jokingly said to you that, oh my gosh, what'd you do if I was pregnant? So anyway, I kind of had a feeling and went to go and buy a pregnancy test in Sainsbury's. And it was so funny because when I got the pregnancy test and I was walking up to the counter, and I felt so, I guess the notion of, not being married because, when I don't wear makeup, I look really young. And being like maybe a young person coming to bring their pregnancy test. So I kept showing my ring. Just to
reassure them.
I'm married, I'm a grown woman here. That kind of stigma.
Prying eyes,
And I didn't realise that I was doing it until I left Sainsbury's, and I was like, I'm so
I have to prove,
But I guess that's how,
society is.
Kind of the stigma is. So anyway, went home with the pregnancy test, and so I was waiting for Yemi to come home, but I knew he was going to come home late, and I wanted to go to bed as well, so I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to do this, get it over and done with. And so I took the test, did the test, the instructions and stuff. And then, the lines came up, and I was like, okay. And the thing is, I didn't really know how to feel, even though we had said that after a year, we're going to get pregnant and stuff like that. But obviously, I've seen like friends who've got children, and obviously how their lives are very different.
It changes dramatically.
So I just 101 things was going through my mind, and I just thought, you know what? Let me put the stick, leave it there, and when Yemi comes back, I'll deal with it then. I think I cooked and I ate and, just had my evening, and then Yemi came home, and then I told him. And I think even when I told him, I cried because I felt like we weren't in a place like maybe financially or where I wanted to be in terms of like my career, my business and stuff like that, in order to bring forth our children. And Yemi just reminded me, and it's something we've been standing on, since before we got married, that God will not put us to shame, and He's already provided for us. And if He's bringing this child,
He's going to provide the means to take care of the child.
So we prayed, and that was it. So and then, like I said, as soon as I found out, the morning sickness started. To be honest, I wasn't really craving for a lot of foods because I was quite ill. I had like severe morning sickness. I can't remember the medical term that they call it, but I had really bad morning sickness.
Is this on a daily basis?
Literally daily basis. I wasn't able to like literally keep any food down, even up to water. Like water tasted so disgusting. I couldn't, I appreciate water so much now, but I couldn't even keep down water. I turned 30 as well in December. So I was in, no, did we go to the hospital that day? No, I think I was at home, but I was ill. Christmas Day we spent it in hospital, so I had a lot of time in hospital, and they had to put me on like the drip so that I could get some nutrients in and stuff, and they gave me like an anti-sickness tablet, which really didn't work. I was very ill for quite some time, and I guess so I spent a lot of time at home. I was either at my mum's or at home, just at home, and I guess not a lot of people knew that I was pregnant anyway because they didn't see me for a long period. So it wasn't up until March, about February, March, when I started to feel a bit better. And so then I went back into work. So I had a new contract that I was starting, so I started my new contract, and that was fine. I was able to eat bit by bit. As soon as I found something that I was craving for, I'd kind of like buy loads of it, and then,
to make sure you're eating.
To make sure that I was eating. And then next day I'm like, I don't like that anymore. I think I did that to you a few times, like so many things. Like I'd be like, I can eat this. You would go and buy it in bulk.
Only for you to turn around and be like,
I don't like it anymore.
How was that for you, Yemi?
I think because I've heard so many stories about it, and it's not until when you're in it and you're actually living the moment that you realize how daunting it could be to have someone's mood swing just like that. And I think I had to tell myself, go back to the humbling thing, I had to tell myself, it's not her. Like, don't blame her. If she doesn't want to know, okay, cool, fine. I might not want to eat it. It just means that we won't have to waste it. But fine, cool, I will support you. And because I'm not physically carrying the child, I have to support you any which way I can. And if it's just by saying, okay, then let it be okay.
Not having a go.
So that was it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and obviously it was important that you bought me those things because I wasn't eating, so whatever I craved, you needed to buy it. So I started work, went back to work. Everything was kind of getting back to normal. I was still kind of vomiting and stuff, but it wasn't as severe
as before.
It was just normal morning sickness as such. So during that period, so around so March I went back to work. So around April, Yemi was planning a concert, Travis Green, and that week when he came, no, it was a week before we had our midwife appointment, right? Yeah, so the week before the concert, we had a midwife appointment, just a normal midwife appointment. Went to the appointment, she did her normal checks on me, like my blood pressure and things like that, and she said, oh, let's hear the baby. And I lied down and she got out her Doppler thing to hear the baby's heartbeat, and she noticed that his heartbeat was skipping a beat. I mean, we could hear it as well, so it wasn't, it was kind of like, it was
a bit irregular.
And so she said that we needed to go to the hospital immediately. So she called up the hospital to make sure that when we get there, that we'd be seen as soon as and stuff. So, I mean, on our way there, I didn't really think much of it. Just thought, whatever really. We were on our way to the hospital. I remember calling my manager as well, telling him that I don't think I'm going to make it into work today because obviously I'm going to go to the hospital. And we know when you go to the hospital, you don't know how long
you're going to be there.
So went to the hospital. And then, the doctor came, a nurse came as well, and they checked the heartbeat, and his heartbeat was fine. So because his heart, and we could hear it as well, it was beating normally. So they then said that we should come the following week just for another scan. And by this time, my ultrascans had finished anyway, so I was just, so they told me to just come for another ultrascan just so that they can double check if everything is okay. So came back the following week, which was the week of the concert that Yemi was organising. Came back on the Wednesday. When I went back on the Wednesday, they then said that, everything was fine, but they then said that he was coming up a bit small, I think for his growth or his
in
weight.
Size and weight.
Yeah, in size, yeah. So they said that, again, it sometimes is kind of normal as such.
So it was like nothing to alarm you or anything to be worried about.
Yeah,
okay.
So then they said that I should come back the following week. I was like, all these appointments, like I'm a contractor. If I don't go to work, I don't get paid. Obviously the health of our baby was
paramount.
Important. So, and on that day, on that Wednesday, I remember I had a networking event that I was organising the following week as well for one of my companies that I run, and I met up with one of the speakers that evening as well. And I remember meeting up with him, and I had like my eyes were bloodshot red, and after the meeting, he was like, "Tola, you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry." Because I don't know. I guess he noticed that something was wrong with me, but I thought I was just kind of tired. Obviously, going to work, traveling to work, And at that time, I was like 6 months pregnant as well. So, and because I still wasn't eating as regular, so I still wasn't getting all the.
You were drained,
and stuff. Yeah. I just thought, probably have just been run down, but I just need to go home and sleep. Thursday went. I wasn't still feeling too well. Friday now. Woke up on Friday, and it got to a point, I think they said I had the doctor diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. So when you can't, I think something to do with your bones, water retention or something.
Right,
so
were they swollen?
Yeah, they were swollen. I couldn't actually close my hands. So literally in the mornings, Yemi would have to bath me and get me ready.
Wow.
But I was still going to work.
Hey.
Because in the day, it was like only in the night and the morning.
It would flare up.
It would flare up. But during the day, it was okay. So in the morning was getting ready. I still had bloodshot eyes. I was still vomiting. And Yemi was like, "Are you sure you want to go to work?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll be fine. It's work."
So you're just soldiering through despite how the physical toll on your body.
Yeah, I was just like, "Yeah, it's fine." And then on my way to work, I was vomiting, and because I work in so at that time I worked. My contract was in Tower Gateway. So obviously on the way to work, and I'm kind of like vomiting.
It's on the train then? Is this on the morning train?
No, not on the train. So I got off on the train. Yeah, on the way to work. So I got off on the train, and I just found a bin, and I was just like vomiting. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to work. Anyway, I got to work, and I just told my manager, "You know what? I can't do this. I'm going home. This is just ridiculous." So called an Uber. Made sure I called an Uber. I'm not sure. Did I call you and tell you that I was going? Did. Yeah. I think I called Jimmy just to let him know that I was going home, that I weren't feeling too well. And again, I just felt like I just needed to sleep. I just needed to rest. And And obviously I was really excited because the next day was the concert as well. So I was like, I'm going to the concert. Ain't nothing stopping me from going to that concert. So I thought, yeah, let me go home, let me rest and sleep, and I'll be energized for the next day. So got the Uber came, went home now, and I got into bed. And I remember calling my mum and telling her, because I told her from early in the week that I really didn't feel too well. Obviously she was quite concerned in terms of what we had told her in terms of the baby's heartbeat being irregular, and then they said it was fine, and they said it was coming up small. So she was quite
just wanted to check in and see what everything was.
So then I then said that, I came home from work because I was vomiting consistently and I wasn't feeling well. She was like, look, just go to the hospital. You don't know what's wrong with you. You haven't been pregnant before. We don't know. Just go to the hospital. And I was like, no, Mum, I'm okay. I just need to sleep.
So did you listen to her eventually?
To be honest, she called Yemi, and then Yemi called me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. And obviously, I didn't want to get Yemi worried because he was with, trying to sort out things for the concert and stuff. So I thought, you know what? Let me just get an Uber and go. So I just put on some clothes, and then I got the Uber and got to the hospital. And even then, I was still even planning to go home and cook some food, maybe that I can try and eat and obviously prepare myself for the concert tomorrow and stuff. So when I got to the hospital now, I started, they took me upstairs and they did the normal test, like checked my urine, my blood pressure and all the usual stuff. And then they said, oh, well, let's check the baby, let's hear the baby. So lie down, and so she took out the little Doppler thing to check his heartbeat. And it was kind of taking some time, and she said, oh, does it usually take long? And I said, yeah, sometimes he moves around quite a lot. And it, when we've had our midwife appointments, he does kind of move around, and they've had to kind of readjust where they put the Doppler and stuff. So I just thought, again, I thought it was normal, and I was tired anyway, so I was just like, yeah, I just can't wait to get in the Uber and get back home because I just want to sleep. And so it was taking some time, and again, I didn't really think nothing of it because it's happened in the past week. He's moved about and it's taken quite long. And I was tired, so I didn't really think nothing of it. So she said, oh, I'm gonna go and call the doctor and get the ultrasound so we can obviously see where he is. So I'm not too sure at that point whether she knew or not. And so the doctor came, and I'm smiling because I'm trying to, I don't know whether I'm trying to hold back tears or not, I don't know, but
just take your time.
Yeah. And so the doctor came, and he then put on the ultrasound thing and then put the jelly thing or whatever on my stomach and was like, oh yeah, he just told me that obviously he was going to check the baby's heartbeat, or check the baby and see if the baby's fine, because they were trying to see if I had an infection or whatever it was of how I was feeling. And he put the whatever it was on my stomach, and I mean instantly when I looked at the screen I could see there was no, usually on the screen there's like a red dot.
Does that indicate the baby?
The heartbeat. And I could see there was no heartbeat, and he was just like, I'm sorry, your baby's heartbeat has stopped. And I was just like, to be honest, at that moment I didn't know. I think I kind of went into, I don't know, I froze, I shut down. I started crying. And
let me just stop you there, because you've said quite a lot, and I know that period, from what you just said, was very intense, very eventful, lots of ups and downs, especially with, I guess, the condition of your health as well. I'm just gonna backtrack back to November when you found out you were pregnant. You said Yemi wasn't at home, he was out, so he was coming back home late. When you did tell Yemi, what was your response, Yemi? What were the emotions that you felt, the feelings when Tola said, I'm expecting your first child?
I think I was definitely surprised because it was only like literally less than 3 weeks or 2 weeks that we said, you know what, let's stop all the contraceptives, let's just go for. And then I'm like, yo, pride of me came out like, yo, my boys are working. I was excited on that front, and that during that period, all my friends were giving birth or being pregnant. So I was like, yo, I'm about to join the daddy club kind of things. And then on the flip side of it, it was raw. I need to up my game now, man. Like no more hustling. I might need to go get a 9 to 5. But I didn't allow that to get to me because I knew that she was probably thinking that, and I needed to just be the man and just bring us together, kind of thing. And then we just prayed and thank God that God, thank you for giving us the gift. We didn't plan, quote unquote, expect it now, but you gave it to us, so we're grateful. So that was the feeling I had.
And how did that contrast to the feelings on Friday the 28th of April 2017 when you received the phone call from the hospital telling you need to come immediately?
I kind of sensed that something was wrong because I think I've watched too many movies. And if in that kind of situation, when is the doctor calling you, you know that there's something wrong. But I didn't think it was the baby. I just thought she couldn't speak. They'd probably put her in drip again and whatnot. So I was just like, oh, okay. Like, and because...
So when you answered that phone call, there was no panic? You were just like...
Not really a panic. It wasn't a real panic, but I was a concern. That, okay. Hope she's all right. I'm sure she's all right. Like, she's a strong woman. Like, I definitely rate my wife for that. Like, even if something is hurting her really and truly, she wouldn't necessarily need anyone to really support her. So I was just thinking, okay, what could be the issue? And I remember vividly, I was at Premier Radio doing an interview when the call came in, and I think I missed it. Yeah, I think I missed it the first time because my phone was on airplane mode. I was inside the studio at the time doing like a press sound. Came out the press room and I saw, I think 2-3 missed calls on my phone from my wife. I was like, you don't call me, if there's something, you don't call me regularly. And I think the 4th time I eventually answered and it was a doctor saying you need to come down to the hospital. I was like, okay, all right, no problem. So I just told my business partner at the time who were doing the event to go, say, oh, you know what, I need you to take over. I quickly need to go to the hospital. We had one car at the time. So I just jumped in a cab and went to the hospital. So,
okay. Something that I'm sort of quite curious to know is, going back to your blog piece, I'm going to refer to that quite a lot because I've read it so many times and probably know the story like the back of my head. It's that moving, it's that powerful. You spoke about how once Yemi arrived at the hospital, you sort of you embraced each other and you wept and you sobbed in each other's arms and you were just about able to mutter prayers unto God. What prayers did you mutter in that painful moment? What were you able to say to God when you were in excruciating pain, full of devastation? What did you say?